Ah, the best part of waking up is getting that little cup of coffee. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to BlackUSA.News. My name's Donnie Glover. You know, we started this website back in January. COVID has changed the way we do just about everything. And we're in years past, a good 20 years, we've been broadcasting by way of WOLB 1010 AM, home of the Larry Young Morning Show. We found a way to do shows from the convenience of our office. And to tell you the truth, I've been having a ball. So we broadcast Monday through Friday, right here, 10 to 11 a.m. East Coast time. And then in the evenings, we have various programs. Tonight it's Party Marty. Last night it was Town Hall with Chap, and Chap did a marvelous job. The discussion was on race, on crime, on Baltimore, Derek Chauvin and the trial as it relates to the murder of George Floyd. It was just beautiful all the way around. On Wednesday nights, we have Sister Biz. Thursday night, Black Lawyers Roundtable. And on Friday nights, we have, let's see, what do we have? The Caring Nurse. And so in an attempt to keep this programming going, we shall converge today with a longtime friend, we both went to Coppin State together.
Yes, sir.
Both have roots here in Sandtown. You did some teaching, some administering at New Song for years, certainly through my son's tenure there as a student, the one and only Reverend Corey Barnes. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Man, blessed by the best, no need to be stressed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are you up to these days?
Well, you know, we are still engaging in the community as we've been serving for over the past 2 years with We Our Us men's movement, along with pastoring and making sure and trying to bring resources to our community, to those who are in need. And, you know, we were inspired to do this with since 2015, the riots. We've had over 300 murders, majority black on black crime, black on black murder, homicides. And we were inspired to go and engage our young men and find out what they need, and began to just bring resources to need, because our philosophy, if you are negatively engaged, that can't be positively engaged and negatively engaged at the same time. But what am I saying? I'm saying if you are on a job and not on a corner, then you can't do both of those at the same time. So we just wanted to incorporate engagement in our community to find out what the needs are, so that we can begin to get these brothers off the streets. Yep.
I've said for years, the best crime fighting plan is a job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned Freddie Gray.
Yep.
I've alluded to Sandtown.
Yes.
This is 6 years later.
Yes, sir.
Is the reason the We Are Us movement exists is because government has failed to respond effectively?
I think, well, let me just be honest and and give the credit first, and then we'll back up. The first credit, I will say, Dr. Bunley, Andre Bunley, and I have been thinking about this for years, and wanting to do something like that. And I want to give credit because Catherine Pugh did tap Dr. Bunley, and she wanted to have an office for African American male engagement. And she actually created an office for that. And no other administration I can think of had something like that. And they tapped Dr. Bunley on that. And so I just want to give credit there.
Well,
on
I thought you were trying to get him out the way so he wouldn't run for mayor.
You listen, you do whatever you say it how you need to say it, Donnie Glover. But I just wanted to
Well,
give
that's
that.
how they do in war. If you know another army could be coming after you, you go ahead and drop them off a box of treasures to keep them satisfied, keep them occupied, keep their mind off the election. They busy counting their dough.
Well, listen. I know you got a strategic mind, and that
Can't
could
help myself.
that could be a strategy. I have no idea. What I do
Well,
want to
I,
credit
I
that
think I
they,
think I think Doc, who would want to be in office, being mayor of Baltimore, and I haven't said it in a while,
yeah,
but it's got to be the most thankless job in the world.
yeah, yeah,
You're never going to please everyone.
right,
If you take care of the people who got you there too well,
yep,
uh, you're going to be accused of this and that. If
yes,
you're black, you got to remember white. If you're white, you got to remember black.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it's there's so many. It's like walking on black ice or driving on black ice
Yeah,
blindfolded.
yeah.
Something's bound to go wrong.
Well, that's why and I know I talked to Dr. Day, is that we are going to stay in the lane that we feel like we're most needed, which is to serve our people, and to begin to engage our young men, and continue to engage our young men. We let the politicians do what the politicians do. But we want to do what we can do as a community, and so that's what we try to do, brother
But
Donnie.
Corey, I know you're being polite and politically correct, but everything we do is political.
And I agree. I agree. I
This
agree.
is a majority black city,
Yes, sir.
and the reason that I adore We Our Us movement
Yes, sir.
is because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who sanctioned it. I
Right.
know who I see out
Yeah.
here on these streets.
Yeah.
I see you, I see Dr. Bunley, I see Bishop Elliott,
Yeah.
and I see a slew of soldiers from around the greater Baltimore area
Yeah.
who come out to Park Heights, to Baltimore and Hilton,
Yeah.
to East Baltimore,
Yeah.
to Pennsylvania Avenue, to Penn North. I know what I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
police, just brothers.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. Are there any other, and this might be loaded, a loaded
Right.
question. Are there any other We Are Us movements in the country? Because where I see the nation going out, we see the nation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We've seen the nation here in Baltimore
Yeah.
along some of the same paths that We Are Us movement goes. And we see the nation in other major cities, Philly, Chicago, what have you. But anything else like this in the
I,
country?
I haven't seen anything else like this because, um, it takes a level of humility that I've never seen before. Um, the captain of the Nation of Islam, who is the vice president of WeRS,
Andrew Knox,
and
forgive me for not mentioning his name,
Andrew Knox Muhammad.
Brother Andrew.
Yeah, and we looked each other in the face, and he said to me, "We can't get this work done without the church." Um, and I looked him in the face and I said, "We can't get this work done without the brothers, without the nation." He said, "We got to do this together in order to change." Because it was funny because on 2015, I got the phone call and I come with there's about 200 pastors, and Andrew and I were right next to each other. Carlos and I went to school together, so I knew Carlos, and we talked a little bit, hugged and everything. but Andrew was right there beside him, and we didn't know each other's name at that time, man. And I think God at that moment was beginning to mend our hearts right there at the police station, making sure our young people didn't jump the line, because Russell said if they cross over, I gotta lock them up, keep them from crossing over.
You talking about Freddie Gray?
Yeah, in 15. So Andrew and I were right there beside each other, didn't even know each other's name. But I believe in that moment right there, in that tragedy, he had began to form We Are Us, because two brothers didn't even know each other's name, now of president and vice president. And I understand that it is, we changed the pronouns, Donnie. It's not me, myself, and I. It's we, our, us, which means it takes all of us. It takes what you're doing, it takes what we're doing, it takes what the politicians are doing. It takes we, our, us to change this. Yeah.
Tell me about Brother Andrew.
Yes. I mean, listen, man, that's my brother, man.
He got a mean phone book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, man, I just, that brother right there, man, the way God has connected us and the way that he moves, man, his word is his word, man. Man, that's my brother, man. And I don't want to speak for him. I just want you to know I can just speak to what he means to me in my life at this time.
Well, you know, as I think about it, Corey,
Yes,
this
sir.
is monumental
Yeah.
because for a long time, for too long,
Yeah.
particularly from the Christian perspective,
Yes, sir.
there's been a line of demarcation
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
nationally.
Yep.
I've been in many, many church settings around many, many Christians.
Yeah.
I was raised in church. I later learned about Islam practice.
Yeah.
But in the church, there's this dichotomy.
Yes, sir.
A lot of Christians don't even say the word right. Muslims
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
Muslims
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
or Muslims,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
referring to Mohammed versus Muhammad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Some cultural nuances that have separated when in fact they are children of the same God.
Yes, sir. What Andrew and I have done is and even with the brothers with the nation, is that we just simply, what we have in common is that we love our people. We love our people. And Jesus calls them, Muhammad calls them to do that. Jesus calls us to do it. And we both are going after our people. And we believe, both believe in both religions, that we have a God that can restore you from the gutter and build and resurrect you. And that's what that's where the foundation is, for us, that the resurrecting God can lift up our people from whatever dirt and muck of ground they in, and they can be resurrected and come up out of it. And that's where we.
I'm gonna say one more thing and then I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yes, sir.
If you've ever listened to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,
Yes, sir.
one will quickly learn that he knows the Bible as well, if not better, than most Christians.
He knows some. Yeah, he does. He does. I'm pretty sure, because I think.
I've heard him quote the Bible many, many, many times.
Yes. Well, I mean, anyone who's formally trained on should be able to, like I know the Torah, the Quran, as well as the Bible. You have to look at them. They're both, all three texts I've studied in seminary at some point. So if not surprised that, he's so versed in the scriptures,
Same characters in all three stories: Abraham, Moses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Main foundation. My point is, we have always had more in common than than our differences. When I was in the Middle East, I remember speaking with a man in a Palestinian refugee camp who spoke about Christians, Muslims, and Jews living in unison
Yeah.
right there in Jordan,
Yeah.
up until a point where, things started to turn in a different direction. But we cannot allow anyone to divide us. And in Black America, considering that we're 13% of the population in my neighborhood in Sandtown, in Upton, Pennsylvania Avenue, we are elated when we see the nation. And now our us movement coming through, featuring brothers of all faiths, including white guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. We are.
Where do white guys come from?
Many of them come from my church. I pastor 31 different flags of origin, and I co-pastor with Bob Bingham, and he's a white guy who's really progressive and love the work.
What was that? What's that word? I've heard that word. It means different things. What is progressive?
Progressive, meaning moving forward thinking, forward, progress more than holding back. The idea of,
I hear it in political circles, but at the end of the day, what I see in politics, not talking about what you are,
yeah,
but you got Black progressives and white progressive. Progressive means different things to either group.
Yeah, I hear you.
About doing the right thing. I don't know what you call that. I just want to see the right thing done.
And that's good. That's good. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Don't tell me to vote for the lottery because you're gonna give me money for education, and then you get in there and sue your way out of putting that money into education. I don't know what you call it. I call that a liar.
Yeah.
And I call that a thief.
Yeah.
When you consider we got a new football stadium, a new baseball stadium, but we have classrooms in Baltimore City, not the one you used to teach at, of course, but some of these older buildings with icicles on the window. I call that a liar and a thief. And they can progressive, conservative, liberal, whatever. That's a liar and a thief.
Yeah.
You got me riled up this morning.
Man, listen, we got a lot of problems, but one of the things that's consistent is our people we need to continue to go after our people. One of the things I recently learned is that with the consent decree, the level of engagement of the police is not at the level where they can actually approach, and so we're able to fill that gap now where we're able to walk up, and you've seen us do it, walk up and see what our people need. And people get perturbed because the police officers in the car as much as they are, but a lot of the consent decree doesn't allow them to move like they did.
They ought to get rid of the consent decree because this Baltimore and ain't nobody going for a safety patrol mentality. Remember the safety patrol?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
Let me tell you something. One of them hoppers hits your brand new car with one of them dirt bikes, fall down, get back on their dirt bike and pull off. You don't want to hear nothing about no consent decree. You don't want to hear nothing about none of that.
And Donnie, that's the thing, and we do this in religion, we do this in politics, is that we have this thing where we throw the baby out with the water. And so when we do stuff, we have these pendulum swings. And so listen, this is the trend right now. Go look at the news. There's a trend right now. Every city that have put the pressure on the police, the crime has risen just like Baltimore. Since 2015, you can track so I'm not saying that the police doesn't need to get their act together. What I am saying is we can't afford a complete pendulum swing and watch the crime go up all around, and the crime is going to every city in which this pressure has been on the police, the crime has gone up. We have to figure that out as well. The murders,
we figured it out. It don't work.
The murders of our people, and that's where it gets personal. Chicago, the inner cities, our people are dying in this, and even more than from the police, which
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
because the
In my
police have a it's like grabbing the police by the tie and say, look, y'all gonna do right. And they like, all right, and they fall back. And that's what you have in Baltimore City. I don't know what these people in elected positions, in official positions, commissioners, I don't know what they see,
right.
but I see the wild, wild west.
Yeah. And I think, and
They
let me
babies out here, man. We hear it's regularly we're hearing about 10-year-olds getting shot.
yeah, 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 yeah. And this is where I think the approach, right? I think it's has to be, can't police our way out of it. I don't think we could police our way out of it. I think we do have to incorporate going to the communities, going to the areas, and making sure we're coming to them with resources and the things that they need. Anybody who's sitting in the office right now waiting on somebody to come to you, our motto is you need to give that money back, because we can't afford to wait for somebody to come to your office. You have to set an office up on where our people are and begin to transform lives right there on the spot. There's not a season right now where we waiting on somebody to come to the office and ask for help. We have to be collectively as one body going into our neighborhoods and getting people what they need so that we can change this culture of violence.
It seems to me that this is something that really deserves the full support of the city of Baltimore.
Yes.
Because you go out now, what, Mondays and Saturdays?
So we got Mondays and Saturday, and we feed during the week at Mac Lewis Gym. And so we feed, yep. So we out there 4 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week. Yep.
How many more people could you use?
Man, listen, we're out there probably before COVID, we were out there between 200 and 300 people every 4 days a week. Now we're about, because of COVID, we're about at 70, 80, sometimes 100, 120 each time for about 2.5 hours when we're out there 2 days a week. Man, my
Let me
thing
tell you
is
something else. Parole and probation might be a strategic partner. These cats got to do community service. Our young people
yep.
who need to do community service hours. This program should be lifted up and supported by the mayor, by the governor, by every elected official, because it is the most effective thing I've seen in Baltimore ever. Well, going back to the 60s, this might be before you were born, they had this thing called Model City.
Okay.
Right after the 68 riots.
Yes, sir.
Model City used to go out to like Patterson Park and Lanville, where I lived at back in 68. But they come out, they have entertainment, they have a stage, they have sports, basketball, and it was to help heal the community. And see, that's something that's not in the language enough. When you turn on Fox and you read the Baltimore Sun, the Baltimore Brew, there's just a constant negative storyline.
Yes, sir.
There's never one about acknowledging the real demons in this city. And those are the ones in those high places.
And it's so funny that you say that, because the mission of us is to connect, protect, mediate, and message. The fourth portion we get ready to incorporate is the messaging portion, where exactly that, where we're going to bring the mobile stage out. We're going to celebrate the communities that's doing well, give awards, but also there's going to be a messaging that we give out when we set that stage up in that community. So you are already on where we are on our fourth stage, which is the messaging piece.
We've been traumatized.
Yep.
We were traumatized before Freddie Gray. The international journalists came to Penn North and saw all of those vacant buildings and thought they were a result of the riots. No, that's daily living in the city. That's daily neglect.
Yeah.
The non-neglect of a black.
Yeah.
Anybody see Penn North back there, Freddie Gray? everybody and their mother was at Penn North. We Are
Right.
Us movement is the only group that I know of that has consistently gone to Penn North.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
saw
sir.
every politician from every level, federal, state, local, show face at
Yeah.
Penn North. We saw preachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We saw preachers we had never seen before at Penn North show up at Penn North.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Freddie Gray centers being erected
Mm-hmm.
by people who had never heard of Freddie Gray before,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
people who have never mentioned Freddie Gray since.
Mm-hmm.
But We Are Us movement is here. And then you got my god brother up in there. You know that makes me proud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We love Bishop Kevin Elliott. He's a blessing to our organization, and you know the thing is, what we've learned, and we constantly say this message, Donnie, and that consistency is hard. Consistency is hard. We didn't get in this situation overnight, and we know that it's going to take consistent. This is why our chant is simply this, you know, we won't stop, we won't quit. We're not going to stop until the change of our city happen. And we just, man, we got a group of men that's not getting a paycheck, but have been consistent for 2 years, and they have bought into the fact that we're not going to stop doing this until we see change in our city.
So,
And
I got a question for you.
yes,
When
sir.
you go to, for instance, Penn North, do you
Yes, sir.
reach out to the elected officials representing, what's that, the 9th City Council District? So that's James Torrance, or
Yeah.
the 40th District State Senator, delegates, the 44th state. You know, how's our outreach efforts, not just the core group,
Yeah.
but if you go up in the village, are you reaching out to a Christopher Burnett or any of the people in the 41st legislative district? Because this is going to take everybody.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Donnie. Like when we go out, what we try to do, and I will say this: a lot of these politicians know who we are, but at the end of the day, we're not doing politics. We are going after our people who are in needs, those who are suffering with addiction. We're putting them in the car that night and taking them down to get treatment.
Corey,
We
don't give them a pass. If you're doing that kind of work in the district that I represent,
Yes,
Donnie
sir.
Glover ought to be there. And if I miss this Monday, I need to find a time to re-coordinate or even set up something special. If you come to I'm gonna be there.
I hear you. I hear you.
Why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be there?
No, I mean that's a great question. That's a great question. That's a great question. And I believe so. I mean, we've seen them come out. I will say my brother, Councilman oh man, I can't even think of his name right now. Pinkett, yeah, Councilman Pinkett, man. He has been of the founders of this. And so I just want to put a shout out to him because he has always
Former
been
Councilman Pinkett.
former Councilman Pinkett, rather.
See, James Torrance took his place.
Yeah.
And so maybe somebody gotta, pull James to the side and say, look here.
Yeah.
We need to get you, you need to follow suit.
Yeah. And
it should be a given. It should be a given, Corey.
Yeah. I listen, Donnie. I don't argue that. I listen, this is your lane and this is what you do, man. I just got my eyes on our people and their needs. And you know what I mean? That's why it's so
They claim to also.
That's why it's we, our, us. You know what I mean? Donnie gonna do what Donnie does.
You got the white guys coming from different parts of town to help create change in the Black community. When I see the white brothers walking with you, it only make me ask where the rest of the brothers at.
Yeah.
Where the rest of the Black brothers at?
Yeah.
Does it not cross your mind? Here, this white guy see the need. Where the other people at? Where the people that look like me?
You know what I say, Donnie? They coming. I just believe they coming. We didn't start off with a couple guys from the nation and a couple other guys, and we showed up. And you know what? They kept coming. They kept coming. So they coming. They coming, brother Donnie. I know they coming. I know they coming.
If the white guys can move through all of the minutia,
Yes, sir.
all of the history, and show their love and concern in our community,
Yes, sir.
despite all that's gone down in this country.
Yes, sir.
See, charity starts at home, bro. And I commend them. I was just sharing yesterday this quote by Edmund Burke.
Yes,
It
sir.
says, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Yes, sir.
The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men
Yep.
to do nothing.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So tell me a little bit more. What do you have planned for this week, next week?
So what we're excited about here, you know, as the murder rate continues to rise, we're continuing to be defined and shaped by the things that we're hearing that we need. And one of the things we've done a great job of getting 1,000 men jobs so far. Now we're going to move from getting them jobs to having someone to walk with them through life, through the vicissitudes of life. I think having someone to pick that phone up and say, listen, things ain't well today, help me out. You know, we want to make sure we got every brother got one brother that he's walking and doing life with, not just, you know. So, you know, I remember, and I don't know if you remember this name, Judge David Mitchell. He became over the juvenile when they sent him to Vegas. But I will never forget that no matter where I was in life, no matter what happened, I'll never forget I was in this courtroom. We were going to I came in the courtroom. He called a recess and said, you know, and time I'll recess over, we'll come adjourn. He sends the police off, whatever the officer said, come on, sent me to the back. He said, well, what's going on with you? What blew my mind is he called a recess for me. He stopped everything for me. And my question, and what I want the brothers to do, is there one person that's in your phone that you will stop everything for, so that you could, that man's called a recess just to talk to me and do lunch with me. And that's where we have to be with one young man on the street. There's some young man that could interrupt this interview right now and make me say, hold on, Donnie, because so-and-so called. If every brother got one brother like that, that's what we need, man. That's exactly what we need. Every man needs that. Every man needs a man that can just pause, that you know will pause. You know, a part of my pastoral responsibility is making good decisions. So between 8 o'clock and between 8 and 9:30, I don't really talk. I'm in meditation, I'm in prayer. But when my son called, it breaks everything. You know what I mean? Every man needs that, man. And so that's our mentoring and life coaching program. We're putting one-on-one with one man, that's someone that, man, you can disrupt my life because I care that much about you. So that's one of the things. Our coaching program is what we're going after right now. And then the other thing is we were able to meet with a lot of the affiliated gang members, and they signed our peace agreement, and they now are, we're holding them accountable to the areas that they're in. That we understand people are making a living, but we got to stop this killing, and we're holding you all accountable to these points on this peace agreement to make sure that because what they know we have, if it's a problem, you have a hotline where no police is involved. We'll get we'll get to you. You know, if someone owe you money, tell us about that. You know what I mean? And we'll help to raise.
While we have you here, we got to
Yep.
put up that conflict resolution phone number.
Yes.
Because us movement has settled a lot of conflicts and have prevented some murders. What is that? Tell me the information.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me grab the card real fast. I'm gonna flash the card out. All right. Let me grab the card.
So if you're just joining us, we're talking with Corey Barnes of We Our Us movement, and they are out here making a difference in our community.
Okay,
There we
so
go.
yeah, so this is our card, the Stop the Beef hotline. They in many of the stores in the city, but our hotline number is 443-431-3705, or 443-522-7848. And so that's our, Stop the Beef hotline. No police involved. It was funny, man, because we were out in Po Homes, and we gave one of the brothers this card yesterday. He said, "Man, I got that." He said, "You know what? It works, man. I had this situation in my neighborhood, and it got on my nerves so bad. And I just went on. I told my wife, give me this card. They called, and the brothers were here in 14 minutes. You know what I mean?"
Check these numbers for me. 443-431-3705 and
Yes, sir.
443-522-7848.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Stop the beat. And you say it works. It has helped reduce the number of murders in Baltimore City. Stop the
Yes,
beat hotline.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. There are so many stories I tell you, man, where we were right there, and someone called that hotline, and literally it saved their lives. Several people we've taken out of town because they were gonna live if they stayed in town. And so this is serious. Like, this is, we do what we need to do to save life. You know what I mean?
Or let me ask you, when you came out of high school
Yes, sir.
at 18, where were you from 18 to 20?
So that's a great question, man. You want to know where I was? I was at Charles Hickey School at 19. I was at Charles Hickey School working out at the school with this company called YSI. And he took a lot of the juvenile brothers, or brothers who got in trouble, and gave them jobs. The guy from Jiffy Lube who took over the juvenile facility. And I was a part of that group going out there at 19, man. And that's where I was, man. And Boyce Mosley ended up taking over the school. And it was interesting, man, because the kid.
Dr. Boyce Mosley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dr. Boyce Mosley. And I will never forget the first day he got out there, man. And he said, told all the counselors, no kid can go back to the unit anymore. So, when they act out, they had to go back to the unit. Dr. Mosley said, no kid can go to the unit. Man, I remember the first day, if it was 100 kids, 75 of them was restrained. He told the teacher, don't stop teaching. They either going to learn on the floor or they're going to learn in the chair. But as long as learning is happening, it's going to fall on them somewhere. And so he said, so you would have 75 kids yelling, screaming, cussing, blah, blah, and the teacher's just teaching. And before you know it, the next day, 50 of them was restrained, but 25 of them was in the chair. And then the next day, it was 70 of them in the chair. Then the rest of them was restrained. And before you know it, by the end of the week, you had kids in chairs at that
Let's
moment.
talk about that for a minute, Corey. I was going into education. I was really going to say that between the ages of 18 and 20,
Yes, sir.
our young men in Baltimore need immediate intervention.
Yes, sir.
18 to 20 without being in school, work, and I dreadfully say military.
Yes, sir.
Because I have my issues. But the military, considering Baltimore's a dangerous town.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't have something for them to do between 18, 20, they are running, they're in the danger zone. 18 to 20 is the danger zone.
I will quote a Republican even stronger. Ronald Reagan said, the decisions that you make between 18 and 25 determines how you live for the rest of your life. The decisions you make between 18 and 25 really determines the class and the system you're going to be in for the rest of your life. And man.
And so when you look at the city of Baltimore, you look at Sundays with the dirt bikes.
Yes, sir.
The level of skill, the energy, the money.
Yes, sir. Yep.
When I see 40 dirt bikes coming up Pennsylvania Avenue, I know that if we can ride a wheelie up the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue in the middle of traffic,
yes, sir,
I know damn well we can learn what's on that test.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Academics I'm talking about. Reading
Yeah.
and writing. Because we've gotten to a point where 60 is passing and we're all saying this foolishness about not everybody is made for college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we
Mm-hmm.
graduating people with 0.13 GPAs. They need to stop that foolishness. Everybody needs a couple of years in a school, especially if you come out of Baltimore City, just to tighten up on your backstroke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ron
yeah.
Gaines, you know where I live at. Stop playing.
Yes, listen. I mean, I think,
The
I
energy that goes into riding a dirt bike could easily, if you can do that, then you can do some other things with your life. The energy that goes into following Instagram and TikTok.
mhm,
Our babies learn a new dance over the summer in 2 days, 1 day. Got the
mhm.
grandma doing it. I know damn well you can do some math tables.
But I do
You know
say
what I
this.
mean, Corey? They come
Yeah,
to school. Hey, Corey, did you teach your children some things before they got to school? Before
yes,
they got to kindergarten? Mommy
of,
was already working on the ABCs.
of course, and I'll add to
Rhonda
that.
Gaines, come on, Rhonda. Rhonda, why don't you stop that? Of course they're in Park Heights. I've been with them in Park Heights.
Let me say this is that I think you have a return. One of the things we've always been as a city, we had Bethlehem still in the beginning. People came from South to raise their families, and when that movement shifted out, and we had the whole everyone going into the military, and then with the opioid crisis that happened from people
It
going into the
wasn't, it wasn't a crisis. They dumped dope, crack, and
exactly.
your boy, Ronald Wilson Reagan, the number was 666 the day he was elected in Baltimore. That straight devil. That's what we
Yeah.
call him.
And you're right. But this is the thing, and I want to push the education piece, Donnie, on this aspect is that you have a return of that labor now where people can begin to start their own businesses through Amazon, and that whole transportation aspect is where we're shifting towards. And another part of it, man, I'm really excited about too, is as we're shifting towards, and this is where we gotta be in the front of things. As we're shifting to electric cars, guess what? Every every cell phone needs a charger, and every charger needs to be repaired. And so, guess what? Every electric car that we shift is going to need a charger. That charge is going to need to be repaired. So we're moving in a system now that we can get more labor and people who have skills and hands with their hands and ingenuity like that, and want to create businesses. My son right now, who played college football, is now truck driving and starting his own business. And so there are other options for people of different passions. We just got to keep our young people understanding the wave of where things are going. When you and I see on the news that the president says I'm moving towards electric, we say, well, it's time to invest here. It's time to get a skill here. It's time to do this. But we got to begin to shift our people to understand where things are and where things are going. And I think, but they have the skill, like you said, if they can lift that wheel on that dirt bike, they can definitely fix that charger.
But I mean, we have come to entertain all kinds of excuses.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
We, black people, have come to entertain all kinds of excuses.
mhm.
If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, during slavery, it was illegal to learn to read and write.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
During the era of Jim Crow, black students would walk miles to get to the nearest school,
Yes, sir.
barefoot,
Yes, sir.
but they had their books in tow.
Yep.
Now, our children are wearing $200 tennis shoes and $300 belts and can't spell cat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, the system.
No,
The,
no, no. The black family has changed, and much of that has to do, or a big part of that is mass incarceration and the impact that has had on our families. The black father, the reason you got a We Are Us movement is because so many black fathers are locked up.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
There will be
absolutely.
no prison system. We 34% of the prisons.
Yes, sir.
We are 1/3 of the prisons, even
Yes,
though we're only 13% of the population.
yes, sir.
What's wrong with that prison? It goes all the way back to the slave patrols.
Yeah, yeah. You on it? Yeah, I mean, you definitely on it.
And
And that,
that is on us. It's 100% on us.
yeah, yeah,
And let me tell you something else. Mass incarceration, and I learned this over at Coppin State in the McNair program. They talked about brain drain.
yeah.
For the past 50 years, we've moved from West Baltimore to Randallstown.
Right.
So West Baltimore has been brain drained.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
best and brightest, so to speak, have moved to Randallstown.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when a mass exodus happens? They leave property.
Yeah,
They sell the businesses they had. What
yeah,
used to be black owned is now Korean owned.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
ain't knocking Korean owned. I just black and I like black owned.
Right, right, right.
We have split. So you got mass incarceration taking us out of the hood. You got upwardly mobile blacks who have left the hood and forgot about grandma's house.
Yes, sir.
And then you got public schools. I mean, my God, are you still a teacher?
No, no. I'm just pastoring. That's it. I'm just pastoring full time. Been doing that for 12 years.
But you
Yeah.
used to teach. You,
Yes,
you did
sir.
a lot
Yeah.
of teaching. Where
Did
did
a
you
lot.
teach?
I teach from 95 to 2004. Yep.
Where?
New Song Academy. Yep. And then I became the of students out in North Bay, the North Bay Project, where the kids go out there for sixth graders go out there for a week. 10,000. We would have served 10,000 in Baltimore City sixth graders. Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you learn from that that's relevant to today's effort with We Are Us movement?
Man, so you know, one of the things that I thought was important and for us is that education it's never meant to be in a in like this secluded, separated, you travel this school, that school. That you have education has to be tied in fully with the community. The way that we did education, we didn't say you got to go to Roland Park in order to get a decent education. We said we're gonna make New Song Roland Park, and we're gonna have smaller class sizes. We're gonna have, but guess what? You can leave right out of your house in your neighborhood and go to a great school. And I think, you know, we have to, you know, if you want great neighborhoods, great neighborhoods starts with great schools. You want people to be businesses. Like if I'm a business owner, the first thing I'm gonna do is have a store. I'm gonna put a store where there's kids in schools. Wow. Now, if you got a lot of kids from different parts wanting to come to that school, then get or the neighbor come to that school, I'm gonna put a store right there next to that school because the same kids are getting a decent education, gonna go and buy out of that store, and it goes around and it's in the same community, and you have the circular. And just imagine that's a black business that the kids are getting a decent education, is then buying in that store, and then so it should be going around, but we have to go out to find good. And that's the problem. We have to make our communities good, not just good, great, so it can circulate. Our neighborhoods are good, our homes are good, our stores are great, our school systems, our schools are great. And we don't even have to go out in the neighborhood. So what we try to do at New Song, and you know this, Don, and we try this, no, you don't need to be a renter, you need to be a homeowner. No, you don't need to go to Roland Park or Mount Washington. You can go to middle school right here. We're gonna, we gonna, not only are we gonna have, and yeah, we acknowledge that when our kids got there, they were behind. So that, what does that mean for us? Oh, that means we gotta have school at 8 o'clock and end at 8 o'clock. That meant that we got to spend more hours. We got to have smaller class sizes because our kids are behind. But we did the necessary things we had to do to fit the kid that we were dealing with. 90% of the kids that came to our school, of course, not your kid, but more of the kids that came to our school was 2 to 3 grade levels behind. So what are we going to do? Education the same way? Absolutely not. I got there at 7:30 and I left there at 8 o'clock. And if you didn't have my homework, I would be there at 10 o'clock at night. Tell your parent to come up because I'm waiting on my homework. That's the way we educated, but it's a little different right now. So yeah.
Some things don't change.
Yeah.
The education is supposed to start at home. Parental involvement is a must. That's what separates quite often these private schools, these Catholic schools from regular
Yes, sir.
schools, is parental accountability.
Yeah.
But you
That
were
was
mentioning one thing, and there was one you meant we talked about the businesses, the communities, the parents, the students. There was one thing, it'll come back to me. So with just a couple of minutes, what can people do to support We Our Us movement? And then tell us again, for those who are just tuning in, what is We Our Us?
Yeah. We Our Us is a community engagement movement started with a group of Black men that decided that we were no longer to sit on the sidelines, but we're going to engage our community with resources and needs. Our website is weourusmovement.org. We're on Facebook and IG. We Our Us. And ways you can engage. One, you can just come out when we're out in different areas. It'll be on Facebook, on our Facebook page. Come out, walk with us, see what we are about, what we do, how we engage, and what part do you fit in. The reason why we changed the pronouns from me, myself, and I to We Our Us is because everybody has a part to play in it. We Our Us is just not our organization; it's our organization. So, every time soon as Donnie showed up, he was a part of We Our Us. So how do you become a part of it? Show up. You are part of We Our Us. Bring your gifts, bring your talents so that we can hit this big problem with, instead of these different fingers, and come together, hit one fist and hit this problem of poverty and violence in our city. That's what we're trying to do.
We talked about Brother Andrew Knox Muhammad.
Yes,
We
sir.
we mentioned my God brother. Tell me about Dr. Andre Bunley for those who don't know. What is the significance of having a Dr. Andre Andrey Bunley involved?
Yeah, man. Dr. Bunley I go back. He was at Harlem Park and I was at New Song, and I remember one time the kid told Dr. Bunley that he gonna punch him in the face and he gonna do this to him, and he said, okay. And they said, meet me at the rec center. And guess who showed up at the rec center? Dr. Andre Bunley was there and asked, what was that you said you wanted to do? And that's the human being that he is, that he will meet you right where you are, right where your anger, so that student to this day still remembers him and never forgot. And it was a
You
life
messing
changing.
with Brookfield and Whitelock. See, a lot of times kids think that we were never young.
Yeah, it's you
Like,
know,
like, like he don't know about what happens outside the rec with somebody, too loose with the lips.
it's like, yeah, man, and that's where we have had a kindred spirit, man. I remember, the young man Tyrone Henderson, who just got shot down on Pressman last year, and him not, he's saying that he thought he was gonna sit me out for my homework, and I stayed there at 11 o'clock until I got my homework. and his mother was cleaning the building. I said, "Well, Pam, you can sit here or with him, but I'm not going anywhere. Is it okay for him to sit here? But I need my homework." And we were there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night because he just wouldn't give me my homework. Because he decided that he wasn't going to do homework, and I said, "Well, you're not going home until you get homework." And his mom sat there. Those are the type of teachers that are willing to go wherever. Dr. Bunny was one who knocked on the door of your home when you not when and want to know why you're not in school. He's the type of individual when you walk the hallway, you got to walk your hallway at home. But when you retire to that walking the hallway at home, then you can ready to go to class. You can come to school. He's the type of principal that had a community meeting for each grade, and the kids would say, "Man, what about my community meeting? What about our meeting?" Because he would have someone singing. He would have because he made everybody feel so good at those community meetings. You know what I mean? That the kids were like, "What about the ninth grade? What about the eighth? What about the 10th grade? So that's the type of individual he is making every human being, every person. And that's one of the things why it's important, why this work is so hard, is because what Dr. Andre Bunley and I both know, if I can get you inside a consolidated room, I can change your mind and change your life. The problem is we are out and we can't put them under one roof all the time. But we can get you under one roof. We know we can change your mind and put something in your head. So yeah.
Good deal. Corey
Yeah.
Barnes, any final thoughts before we bounce for the day?
No, man. Thank you for having us. Thank you for including us and thinking about We Are Us. And man, keep doing the work that you're doing on the front that you do it, because only Donnie Glover can do it the way you do it.
Bless your heart, man. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all that you've been to me. And we appreciate your work. We need more black men in the classrooms.
Yes, sir. We do.
And we need more black men on the corners with We Are Us movement. We appreciate you much.
Yes, brother. Take care, man. All right.
Good deal. Thank you for joining us today. Up to day, down tomorrow, do your day, and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning.